Okay. Where is everyone? Shit. Let me ping a DM.
DM here. DM here.
Okay. I need another DM.
Hello, DM here.
Oh.
DM here? Oh, sorry. I think we just both reacted to the same ping. Sorry about that.
Jeez, that happens.
Is there any more that's gonna answer this?
No, that should be it.
DM here. Sorry. I was a little tired.
Oh, hello there. How long have you been back there?
Oh,
DM here. Probably like 20 minutes before the stream started.
Hello, where'd you come from?
Thank you guys.
Over there. Oh. What did you need?
Hold on. Sorry. I was getting my notes together. DM here. How can I help? Oh, everyone's already here. All right. Sweet.
We got it.
Yeah, we got it in some fashion, didn't we?
Yeah, we got it.
One and all. Fantastic. Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and all sorts of other folks, be you alien, insect kind, synthetic, magical being, and other. Welcome to the Neon Divide podcast. Today's podcast is, well, as you can tell, with the crew of brand new DMs on site for Neon Divide Season 4. I myself am your, I guess, for people who don't know, new RP lead for Neon Divide. I'm NicNac. Good to meet you all. I hope we can have a fantastic Season 4 here whenever we're ready to launch for next season. But more importantly, let me introduce you, the DMs who will be running some of our fantastic maps for next season. So starting off in the Wasteland, but of course, you know, Wasteland-based land, Detroit Sentai.
Woo! Let's go.
Also, next to him, going to Undercity, will be Friendly Explosion.
Super excited. It's gonna be great.
Alongside them, of course, Skiz, also for Undercity.
heck yeah. I cannot leave the Undercity. I love it too
And
much.
not stuck there. Absolutely stuck. Up here in row with myself, actually, is going to be Zab.
Hey.
Zab's son, Season 1 veteran. Very excited to have them on board. And of course, last but not least in any regard, is our newest Upper City DM, Bucky Loves It, or just Bucky. So good to have you folks on the show today.
Thank you very much.
I have stolen Skiz's role today,
Yep.
and I am not sorry whatsoever.
Hey, I'm just glad to, take a seat back and not be the host for once.
Exactly. Well, now that I've given formal introductions, let's go into in-character introductions, shall we? So we'll go around the same way again. Introduce us to your characters, what they did last season, and, anything else you want to talk about. Why don't we start with you, Detroit?
All right, I gotta stand for this. Well,
Yeah.
Season 1 in the row, I was Kenneth Mori. Rokiger hero, I was the arena master. I kind of just hung out with friends, helped, events go out in the arena, got involved with the weird plant girl, stuff like that. Oh, and made grilled cheese sandwiches.
Grilled cheese sandwiches,
Very
an
important.
iconic food item indeed. All right, then, Friendly, who did you play last season?
Well, I guess I'm gonna stand up now. Thanks, Detroit.
You've made it to
Friendly.
status quo
Do
now,
my
Detroit.
pose. I have to do my
Congratulations.
everybody's
poses.
gotta
I
stand
can't do
up.
sit poses.
But I had the unique opportunity to play a supportive cast character who ended up going on a shadow run in this exact place. Actually, I remember dying down there. Actually,
Yeah, I think 15
almost.
feet that direction. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
But I got to pull in. I lived, bitch. Kind of. I don't know if I can swear on this. I'm sorry, but
Oh, you're fine. It's Twitch. It's
But-
an 18 plus ish role play. We tackle darker themes here, so
We
swearing
swear all
is
the
a part
time
of
in the
those.
role play. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a part of the themes here, so don't worry about it. But yeah, Vin, a fantastic supporting cast member who was on that run. Very good stuff, and very iconic character for the Magi, if I recall, right?
I don't know if I'd go as far as to say iconic. I was around
I'd
them
say
a lot.
iconic.
I
I'd
think
say
only because
iconic.
I was around for quite a bit. Most sessions I played Vin. They're a great character provided to me by the Undercity DMs of the time, and I am so happy with the character, and I'm happy that they lived because I had commissioned character art after he survived because I didn't expect him to live. I think there were multiple conversations of just like, he's gonna die and I'm gonna have to think of another character, and then he never did. Part of me is disappointed, but I can't. Like, I'm happy with the character. I can't remember any. Oh, I watched one of my friends die. That was a character moment.
It's always fun.
There you go. There you go.
Dude. I mean, if you're not watching a friend die, are you really living in, Salvation City? Like, it just seems like it's a common occurrence at this,
That's just another Tuesday.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
All right, then. Moving on over to Skiz. You
I'm-
played a character in Undercity last season,
Yep,
didn't
and
you?
I'm taking a stand, and by taking a stand, I mean I'm not standing. I'm changing the status quo right here and now. I played V4Q, otherwise known as VAC, last season, a synthetic in the Undercity, obviously. And I was mostly running Theris's shop for him. I mean, he helped out too, but
Right.
I did a lot of synth repair, got to meet a lot of the synths, and there's nothing sinister going on.
Nothing at all.
Exactly.
Just gotta, man, stick it to the flesh, man.
Oh yeah,
it is
no.
what it is.
V4 absolutely hates organics. That is something that will probably come up during this, so I'll
Oh,
get
I'm
that out there
sure.
right now.
Oh, I'm sure. But of
Should I
course,
scooch left a little bit?
Well, you got metal arms. That's a start. At least I think.
Oh,
they're metal.
this is my gateway pass.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you
That's
got
better
the-
I
than
see.
you got the enhanced, card in your wallet there, so you get lower on the totem pole of extermination, And speaking of Bucky's fantastically cybernetically enhanced arms, let's go into you, Bucky. Who did you play?
Yeah, I played the best boy from Valkyrie, Artyom Fedorov, lead field agent. It's pretty good. I spent most of my time in surgery or
gonna s-
presumed dead. So beyond
gonna
that, it was a pretty good season. Had a lot of fun, and this was my first big major role play. So I'm glad I got to do it with you, fine folks.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know someone who would debate you. One person in particular who would debate
Oh,
you
bye.
on there they go. Debate you
there you
on
go.
Best Boy in Valkyrie. But yes,
Well,
you
that's
had
a given.
some fantastic encounters and just moments during your time. I luckily got the DM one of those moments, and I'm excited to see where it goes here in the future. And of course, last but not least, Zab, you're actually not in a character you played last season.
I am
not. You wanna talk a bit about him?
So, last season at the very least, I played Rhapsodidia, the governor of the Outer Ring. Basically the faction lead for the Union. He went around talking to people, trying to keep the peace, that kind of stuff. But next season, I'm going to be playing Bade Shess, a wyvern.
Ooh, a wyvern.
Yes, who he actually fought in the War of Unification, and was on Ajax when it was glassed. Or-
Man.
Just before it was glassed.
I was gonna say, hey, you survived a glass. And...
Well, it's not an instant.
His
Yeah.
armor is very good.
I mean, from
It's
what I
just
know
that good.
of the wyverns, they drop in good, not get out fast. So it's a miracle you survived, really. But no, it's very exciting characters all around. And of course, I have a character as well, but I mean, I'm not going to get into Roger. He's a weirdo. No one cares. He pisses in
one wants to see
bathrooms and doesn't, take anyone's account. So,
Unlike
piss in
all the
bathrooms.
other people that don't.
It's not a
piss in
weird thing to
bathrooms,
piss in
yeah.
a bathroom. Hold on.
well, it isn't, except when it's not actually a bathroom, right? That's the concerning factor here. But no, to sum up my character real quick, I play Jolly Roger, or his name. He is an operator for the Runner Network. The Runner Network being our shady mercenary network connection thing that does jobs for anyone willing to pay, mostly the corporates, but nothing's off the table for some folks. And I just make sure that things run and things happen. Missions, runners get to where they need to be, supplies get, where they need to be, and smuggle some stuff in. But that's him in a nutshell. I'd switch to his model, but I'm far too lazy, and I like my avatar here. So, but besides all that, now that we've gotten introductions out of the way, what's now that we're all DMs here, what kind of themes do we want to like get into? Let's go with you, Friendly. What kind of themes are you hoping to explore here next season? I know a lot of people are excited, wanting to write about stuff next season, and I know we can't go into details, but I want to hear like fun ideas just to bounce around in general.
Well, sorry, I'm having trouble picking just one because, like, as you know, the Undercity has been writing a lot for like stories and stuff. There's a lot of things that we want to try and tackle if we can. But I think one of the things I'm most interested in to see how it like works out, and like I'm interested to explore, is the potential full independence of the Undercity, and
Yeah.
exploring the ramifications of that.
Yeah, because that was like a thing that like the Undercity kind of declared its own independence, and then a lot of other people were like, are you sure?" Like I know Zabson's
You guys
character,
make Rhapsodia sad.
yeah, Rapsodidia was like, "You could be District 33. Think about it." Yeah, we just didn't seem to want it, so now Undercity's kind of, it's been a full year since claiming independence, and we'll see how that goes. We got some fun ideas for thinking about exactly what that means, banging around.
I know us in the row here are going to have to consider it, isn't that right, Zab? Because if they're right below us and, they're sitting on all the infrastructure, if any of that gets cut off, the row is going to have an interesting time next season if that happens for sure.
Yeah, like I don't think it was actually going to be the case, but it was rumored in character that the row was going to blow up last season because there was going to be an explosion in the furnace.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
because we have y'all's, like, all your trash gets sent down to our incinerators. So
Mhm.
when that furnace starts to overheat, y'all have to deal with the consequences, not just the Undercity.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting, right, to see that independence happen because I'm sure the corporations aren't very happy with that, especially like Masaru getting kind of shoved out of Undercity, not so much in a conflictive sort of way, but very much out of a we're just sick and tired of dealing with all of these little issues that crop up and stuff like that. So maybe it's room for another corporation to try and step in, or maybe it's room for just other antagonist forces to kind of jump in there, and I know for antagonistic forces, we're looking at a lot more interesting and varied ones here, hopefully soon. I know Bucky himself had a lot of interesting ideas for all sorts of stuff like that. Some really interesting
yeah.
criminal organizations. I want to work really close with those, especially because there was like the introduction of the gangs from last season in the row that kind of splintered out. There were the bandit lords in Wasteland that were really interesting to see. There was a whole Wasteland finale going on down there that was the attack of the bandit lords on Scraptown and stuff. So all sorts of really interesting things we can, think of and make it a much more enjoyable experience overall for I think everybody and on the maps, So
Yeah, it's
yeah.
definitely going to be fun to play with the factions.
Mm-hmm. Oh, most assuredly. And just speaking of DM writing and stuff like that, I actually forgot to ask this at the start here, but what's everyone's role play or DMing experience in general? I know I have like roughly 15 years of like tabletop experience and stuff like that. This is actually the first major VR LARP or RP project I've been a part of, but maybe that's not the same for everyone else. What do you think, Zab? What's your experience like here?
So this will be my first experience DMing in VR, and I don't have much DM experience for like D&D, but I have a little bit at least. And uh, not get into detail, I have this project that I want to do at some point eventually, and I'm going to need to DM for that. So this is certainly good practice for that. As for roleplay in general, Callous Row, back in season 1 when it was called Callous Row, I was my first, almost technically, my first VR in VR roleplay. I did some metaverse stuff, which for those that don't know, it's like general roleplay stuff. A lot of things go really. It's much more of a Wild West mixed bag, that kind of deal.
Very open RP kind of stuff.
Yeah, I started that in 2018. Stopped for a bit, and then got VR and started doing it right before season 1 started up.
Mm.
Before that, though, I want to say 6 or 7 years. No, I haven't done much D&D recently, but at least 4 or 5 years of D&D experience.
Oh yeah, I mean, any experience is good experience, right? And as long as you can tell the story, you can do just as well in any facet of role play. Is my belief at least. And I'm actually really curious because Bucky, I actually don't know a lot of your role play experience in general. I know you said this was your first VR RP,
Not
but
necessarily.
okay. Well then,
Yeah, let me fill you in. I worked on a project before like VRChat roleplay got super popular that I can't go into a bunch of detail about, but I spent probably 2 or 3 years working as a DM with them and a dev for that project, which was a lot of fun. In addition to that, been a D&D veteran for like 6 or 7 years now, and that's been a lot of fun. Storytelling and TPKs are prevalent. And then
D&D
I did.
career if a rock falls and no one dies,
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you took a shrinking potion? Well, have fun when that wears off in the wrong spot at the wrong time.
Mm.
And in addition to that, I was an overseer for an ARMA organization for quite a while, probably 4 years there. So that's kind of a bit of like RP related, not necessarily DM experience. And then I did some DM work for Aegis before this. If you haven't heard of Aegis
really?
RP, that's a great spot. Definitely a lot of fun to check out if you're into the kind of like the blend of sci-fi and fantasy, and really diving into the whole Feywilds and fun stuff with there.
Yeah, and Aegis is in metaverse.
Yeah, I've heard good
Yeah,
things about
yeah, it is.
Aegis, And speaking of, sideline projects as well, there's actually 2 people here from a project very near and dear to a lot of the hearts here in Neon Divide. 2 folks from Neon Divide fan RP.
Hello.
Definitely some interesting stuff they got going on over there as well, and a fantastic just group of folks who do fantastic things over there.
Yeah, I mean, that's going into my experience. I mean, VRRP, I did fan RP, which is like a weird. When the season 2 maps went public, a bunch of people just started meeting up on the public maps and role playing, and it kind of spun into something chaotic but kind of beautiful. And it's been a ton of fun doing that. And I'm still actively doing it. I'm still part of that project.
Oh yeah.
And then I've done D&D on and off for friends for like maybe the past 10 years here and there. Just trying out different versions, nothing super long term or dedicated. It's the classic. If I had $1 for every time I had a campaign that I never finished or even saw through,
I'd be
just,
rich. I'd be
you
rich
know,
at this point. God.
that's beginning of being a young adult and dealing with friends at colleges, people starting to work schedules. I mean, it's a miracle that every week during season Neon can get 150 plus people effectively in a room and cram them all in for 4 hours of solid role play.
It's like wrangling cats.
Including
Well, yeah.
the supporting cast. I think it's like closer to
think-
200, really.
Yeah, it's
close to
almost
250 or
200.
so, 250 or so, I would say. Yeah, 250. But yeah, no, all sorts of interesting ranges of experience here that I think will just come together to form a fantastic season 4 here in the future, especially with the older DM team that we still have on staff. And a bunch of you folks coming in as new faces, new ideas, and fresh energy. We're definitely going to see some of that. So I know we talked a lot about previous experience and stuff from season 3. So I think we can take a moment here and actually pull up a clip from some of you fine folks. Let's see, what clips do we want to pull up here? We got a fun clip here from actually Bucky's first few minutes in Neon Divide, which is great. So dogs,
I think
whenever
you
you
got
want
it
to pull
muted.
that up.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So this was about 20 seconds after I'd walked in.
I don't know why.
Fair enough. You look strong like a brick. Oh, my bad. Yeah. I had no idea that the range for grabbing that stuff was so far.
Yeah, I got you. Thanks for that. Thanks for the warning.
All right, take it easy.
Go for it. Have a good one.
And immediately walk through the gate. Yeah.
Not only did you shoot your guard, you also ran through your own security to set it off. And just,
He was testing the guard's armor and the
Exactly.
security.
Well, he said his name was Brick, right? And I was like, oh, you look strong like a brick.
Proper
to
test
be-
of Valkyrie material.
To be
Exactly.
fair, I was supporting Cass at the start of season 3, and pretty much everyone, even veterans coming back, walked through the gate and set off the alarm that first episode.
Everybody did it at least once,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
And I'm pretty sure everyone who's ever had a gun on their hip in RP has shot it by mistake at least once as well.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like it's almost
just
a rite of passage.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a universal experience. It's just something that happens. VRChat.
Yeah, you can't role play in VRChat without some VRChat scuff. It is what it is, you know. And
It's like-
no, I was gonna say I'm just running out of it is what it is at this point. It's ooh.
I think they just need to shrink the interaction box because I can just force grab the grenade from all the way over
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Yeah.
At the same
Yeah.
time, it's kind of nice, to like, because you don't really have like that actual feeling of like, oh, okay, I've got my hand around the grip. Now I can pull it out. So just getting in the kind of area and then grabbing, you're good, because
Mhm.
you lack that actual response that you get from touching things. I mean, you get the haptic feedback, I guess.
Yeah, the vibration at the very least.
Yeah.
Vibration.
I mean, that gets into that's a genuine question. I don't know if all VR controllers, wands, whatever you want to call them, have vibration or that haptic feedback. There's so much,
I feel like
so many
most of
different
them.
SKUs.
I think
do.
most of them at this point do, but I'm not. That's a good
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Ever
Like
had
if someone's running an
feedbacks?
old gen Rift or something. Does that
Yeah, I
Oh,
know
those still
my
had it.
my Oculus dev kit does not. I mean, granted, it also doesn't have controllers, so maybe that's why.
And I know a lot of there was a lot of things of like if people had like certain controllers in the maps and stuff, and like there
Yeah.
was weird like grabbables or interactions with the systems that we have that some shortcuts worked and didn't work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to see those things cropped up. But luckily, FaZe, wizard that he is, and our fantastic dev team got either on that or solved those pretty shortly after, or are fixing them as we speak. So, just the maps are fantastic, and you guys are doing some fantastic stuff on your maps. I would hope, for next season. Is there anything about your home map that you like specifically? I know, Skiz, you talked a lot about how you can't escape the Undercity. Why can't you escape it? What's wrong with the row?
I just love it too much. Like I feel like you get a weird sense of community, and realistically, you probably get this everywhere. The Undercity is just the first one that I felt that weird sense of community, because like
some areas more than others.
yeah,
really.
for sure. But like in season 2, I was playing an 84-year-old Mothman that every time he saw a light, he had to walk towards it, and that was sometimes very dangerous because there'd be combat going on, or like we had the fire elementals coming around, and like, oh, that's a big bright light, I have to walk towards that, and like there would just be like some random person I'd never met would see me like walking towards something, and like they like I'm kind of mumbling about how bright it is, and they're like, oh let me shine a flashlight at you, oh come this way old man, and like take me away from the danger. This like old guy that they in character had never met me before, and they're just like, oh let me help this old guy. He he doesn't really know what he's doing. Just that feeling of like everyone kind of in a pinch is looking out for each other is really one of the things I absolutely love about the Undercity. I mean, there are still obviously exceptions to that rule, but just that feeling that like every time a corp comes down looking for someone, no one knows who they're looking for. Everyone feigns ignorance. No one's like, "Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about." Even if the corp
No.
has no bad intentions, just everyone just kind of is like, I don't know who you're looking for. I've never seen this person in my life. There's a lot of that, and it's kind of it makes for a really strong community, if a very disjointed and disorganized community.
Kind of this weird like walking into the like the bad part of town kind of thing where
Yeah.
and you would think the row kind of has some of that identity, but the row is more cold to each other. There is this sense of community there, but there's like more coldness towards each other because everyone
Mhm.
can kind of handle themselves, and if you can't handle yourself, you're kind of shit out of luck in the row. But the Undercity has this really interesting informality of like a sense of community and family and stuff like that,
Yeah.
especially surrounding the magical community as a whole.
Yeah, it is a magical community, and now we've got kind of starting to build a little bit of a synth community, which obviously I'm excited to play around with next season. Um, it's a great kind of melting pot of kind of all the outcasts that weren't outcasts so hard that they ended up in Scrap Town, but manage to kind of find their way to somewhere like where they weren't as visible to the public eye, had a little bit more like, okay, I can feel safe to do my magic. I can feel safe to be an awakened synth down here, and I'm not having to deal with bandits and the sandworms and all that. Even if you do have to deal with magical rifts opening and krakens
Yeah, I was
literally eating people.
Corporate
I was
attacks,
about to say,
things out of
yeah.
the water, all
Eh.
sorts of stuff.
Aside from the magic, like bullshit going on almost every other day,
Mhm.
Undercity really is like one of the safer places to be.
Well, you
Mhm.
say
It's just
that, and then I have a clip here actually that says, quite the opposite here about what is this clip's name exactly? Ambush in the Sanctum.
Okay.
all right.
Yeah, like
Let's
let me post the evidence here real quick. Let's go ahead and get that one
we
up
could
and
talk
going.
about this.
I mean, the thing here is that we are the danger.
We are the danger. Yeah.
Oh, it is dangerous.
Just not to us.
If I recall correctly, this is the Magi
Oh yeah,
setting up
no,
a
it's
trap
Yeah.
for some Masaru
the Undercity citizens are in no danger there.
Yeah.
HDR or at least elite guard force coming down and trying to find something or another. Just look at them go.
Yeah. So they had
Making
just
that row SMG work.
they had just they had just hurt rather grievously Wisp. So Fenris, who was our leader, was pretty firmly on the warpath. And so I didn't even know that we were doing this going into this. I didn't hear the radio communication about Wisp getting injured, and that being why Fenris was set off. I was just like thinking, oh, okay, we're worried about Masaru retaliating because we just kind of ran them out somewhat. Now we're distributing guns. That's what we're doing, right? Okay, that's why we're here in the sanctum, all with guns. Wait, we're being told to stand behind these, these pillars. We're setting up a kill box here. Okay. It was but I mean, V4 doesn't really value the lives of organics anyway, so it wasn't really a big leap for her to make, but it was yeah, that was kind of a turning point in that whole situation down with Masaru in the Undercity. That episode, we just uh, a lot of Masaru people might have died, but Undercity kind of cemented a foothold that never really got taken away.
And that's definitely going to be an interesting theme going on
Yep.
in season 4 for sure. And you know, we talk about community and we talk about the love for these maps and such, but the kind of different ends of that spectrum are actually the two maps here, both Upper City and Wasteland. Wasteland, some people attributing to being like the most communal out of all the maps. Like you smell one thing of like bad policy going on in the Wasteland, and suddenly there's this like whole town is out with guns trying to find whoever caused the problem, or you know, something's at the gate and the entire town's lined up at the gate, you know, guns out and ready to take on whatever's coming. So it's really interesting to see those dynamics. And then, you know, you have the other end of that spectrum of Upper City, just everyone for themselves, everyone trying to make it big in the city, trying to get off this rock that like either you've been excommunicated to, or you're working in the back end of the galaxy, or whatever you want to call it. Like, just it's so interesting to see the dynamics between maps. And I know the row, especially sitting here, kind of like in that middle ground of like, yeah, we're close, but if there was a way off this rock, I might sell you up the creek. Who knows? You know what I mean? And it's definitely interesting to just see that happen constantly in the maps as well, especially between player characters. That's one of my favorite aspects to watch, while DMing especially.
That's something I'm definitely looking forward to, because I haven't had the opportunity to really get in depth with all the different stories going on all these other maps. But having those player characters come and connect the maps, I'm so excited to see what that's going to bring in season 4, especially with all the changes we're looking at making.
Oh, most assuredly. I mean, there's already so much like cross contamination between storylines and character storylines and plot hooks, and like I think one of the biggest examples I can think of is the results of what happened in the Undercity Juan storyline from last season. For folks who don't know about that, we might be seeing some interesting changes go on in Upper City with that conclusion of, you know, someone doing something really interesting with those wands. So we'll see what happens there. But you know, there's all sorts of those little things there that just happen all the time, like the whole things with the row and the wasteland and corporation, all sorts of stuff. So very exciting to see. Very exciting to get in on board with it on season 4 as well. So let's see. Do we have any questions from any folks in the chat while we're here? While I can, you know, I'm referring to my resources here to double check, make sure I'm not crazy. Yeah, sure.
Oh, if you have any questions in the chat,
Yeah,
feel
if
free to
anyone-
post them.
Yeah, if anyone has any questions,
Yeah.
We are willing to provide answers if we can.
Oh yeah, like you've got your whole slew of DM team here. Essentially, like we've got like roughly over half of the DM team here. So if we can answer anything, we'd love to.
And then anything we can't answer, we'll just.
there is one not directly related to DMing. It's asking about Bigfoot.
Oh God, Bigfoot.
My
Oh,
God.
Because
what-
that kind of leaked out that one night.
Can you talk about what happened with Bigfoot? Okay, so there's a lot of changes going on in the background with Neon Divide. We're working really hard to get new systems in place and get our lore settled properly, because that has been a constant issue in Neon Divide. For the longest time, no one knew what a synthetic was, or how our magic really worked, or where it came from and stuff like that. So we're really trying to get those notes down and trying to pull from all sources that we have, from player character backgrounds to written lore to things that are just submitted and left to the wayside in a document someone forgot about. So working with character team, we're trying to get all that wrangled. And the the result of Bigfoot was the idea of trying to set up the dynamic between technology and magic properly, and then forgetting that, you know, there's always the idea that someone can bioorganically augment themselves as well, like splicing animal genetics or enhancing muscle tissue or whatever you want to do with it, kind of thing. And that was kind of like Bigfoot getting scared out of the cave, like, oh no, it's a surprise problem no one knew considered when we were getting things settled. So Bigfoot became like this, like, oh god, the crab cared not for the wall we were trying to build, and he scared Bigfoot out, and now we have to chase him down and get a suit on him and make sure he makes sense in the dynamic between magic and technology and all the other stuff we're trying to juggle in a lot of our reworks and reorganization that we're trying to do. So I know there's I can't show it, but if you could see the sheer mass of memes that came out of that, it's a lot. It's a lot. There's so many.
We don't talk about the court.
We don't talk about Space Jam or Bigfoot or the
B-wall.
the
It was a very
Rainbow
wild
Road.
weekend, but it had a good result.
Oh yeah, it was one of the most productive weekends I think we've ever had in project when trying to talk about this kind of stuff. It was really good.
There was one point where there was a meeting one day, and then the next big meeting happened approximately 25 hours later. And so one meeting, and then kind of near the end, that meeting had a couple breaks, let's say, but then near the end of that meeting, we were like, okay, great, we've civilized Bigfoot. Next meeting starts in half an hour. Just through sheer sleep deprivation and people new people kind of waking up and seeing the solutions that had been presented and being kind of okay, let's think about this, and just presenting new solutions, new problems. It's just the fact that there was unofficially a meeting that had gone on for almost 25 hours.
Yeah. So there was the one meeting, and I think
CT
collectively
meeting.
at least one person was working on something for the next 24 hours.
Yeah.
Well, I was there for the majority of it. So what happened was CT meeting happened that Thursday evening, and we were into the reads with it, and we were getting real into it, and then we were like, oh, all right, and then people kept going, and then that kind of rolled into the next day when people woke up, and it's like, what do you mean you're still working on stuff? What do you mean you're still there? What do you mean you're still in the whiteboard that we're using? What do you mean? What do you mean? And then people just jumped in to see what people were working on, and then that ball rolled from that last evening into noon, and then we finally solved one of the big issues after really getting into the dirt and grime about it. And then I remember someone saying, Sky kind of says it here in the chat, all right guys, we tamed Bigfoot. DM meetings in 30 minutes. We'll see you there. And
I was so confused by that thing. It's like, what? The first things I woke up to. It's just we tamed a Bigfoot. Explain.
Yeah.
When we get everything all out and settled to the community, I definitely want to post that whole meme wall just out there. Because I know we've posted excerpts of things we could talk about, but there are some things on there just the Space Jam court was just
Space Jam court.
God. Can you
Needs
play
to be
B-ball in a
immortalized forever.
triangle? Can you play B-ball in a triangle? You certainly can if you try hard enough.
Yeah, and I missed the majority of that CT workshop thing, but I remember everybody in that room assuring me that they had gotten enough sleep. And you're telling me that there was sleep deprivation going on?
Okay, so
voluntary sleep
Skiz
deprivation
was the one that was up for the longest, but he woke up right when he started working. So it was nighttime when he woke up. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So everyone else at least got some
slept
sleep.
in shifts.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, right. That's kind of the big thing. So if it shows anything, we are definitely more than dedicated to make sure that season 4 certainly happens here. And I think everyone is very excited now that we've essentially tamed Bigfoot, and one of our biggest obstacles in the way here has been kind of settled. Now we're getting into the fucking the itty bitty nitty gritty details of everything, like the tweaking numbers, making sure things feel good, stuff like that.
Kind of making mock character sheets, to make sure that things are working out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Combing Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And I know not everyone in here was involved in the process, but I know still like observing the process and
Mhm.
like understanding it is still really important, which you two were very much involved with as well. And I can't wait to see what happens. Also, while I'm here, I'm going to pitch everyone just how I pitch it all to the DM team. Have you considered D6s for anything you do? D6s are fantastic. Like, just hear me out, all right? Just hear me out on the
I
D6.
don't know why you're
real
falling
quick.
into your chair. It's a good idea.
Just
Oh yeah, no, it's a great idea. It's just at this point, it's become somewhat of a meme. There's a moment of silence, and then suddenly NicNac has to pitch D6s again.
It's like, well, like while I got you guys here, just come to my corner. Come to my D6 corner. Let me explain
Yeah.
why D6s are such a good idea. But regardless, it's just a fantastic thing to see everyone working so hard for a season 4, and I'm just so glad to have everyone here and excited for it. Even if we're kind of taking a bit of a soft break here with winter break coming around and
Mhm.
holidays,
A
all
lot
that
of
stuff.
holidays.
A lot of holidays kind of lined up here. We will get there when we get there. I am most assuredly like objective number 1, and I think everyone can speak in the room with me here, that Neon Divide season 4 will come out when it is ready to come out.
Mhm.
Like first and foremost, because we don't want to crunch our devs. We don't want to force something that isn't ready to go out. We don't want to write half-ass stories. We want to make sure everyone, including ourselves and the dev team and all sorts of folks, have a good time for season 4.
Yeah.
Because that has been. Go ahead.
That
Seth.
has never been the case. It has never been the case before.
Yeah. Because previous management, whoever that may be, um, you know, I want to just make sure that this project gets the respect and the work and the time and the effort that it deserves. Because I think all of us here and everyone watching really cares for this project. I know I care for this project. I know everyone here sitting with me really cares for this project. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here as DMs, right?
I'm a
And
fucking old man.
yeah, Zab especially. Zab's been here, season 1 veteran. Like, just so many people here care, and I want to make sure that that's comes across in everything we do. But speaking of Zab being an old ass character, we actually have a clip from you from season 2.
Oh
that
boy,
I want to show everyone because it deserves to be shown.
what is this?
Dogs, go ahead and pull that up. Oh, is it season 3? I thought it was a season 2 clip. Okay, all right then. We'll go.
Oh, this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
Yeah.
You know what? My favorite clan has still always been that one way down there. You know what it says?
God damn it, Tish. Says it
It does say it ass, doesn't it?
God fucking damn it,
I don't know,
Tish.
there's something visceral about it that just feels correct to me. I don't know.
the TOS walking
The
away.
TOS. Yeah, God. It's great. You gotta love the row. You gotta love all the memes that are built into the row. Eat ass, always watching all the graffiti and stuff like that.
Mhm.
It's just little moments like that make, role playing here very, very fun in my opinion. So that's why I'm here. That's why I want it to succeed. And I know everyone else here wants it to succeed. But enough talking about
good.
like lofty goals and stuff like that. Why don't we go into like more in depth with folks here? Like, is there anything you're excited for? Anything you want to really see that you can, if you had like one thing to do with the project, doesn't matter how lofty it is, doesn't matter how crazy, like anything you'd want to see with it.
There's just so many awesome things that are coming
Yeah.
up. It's it's gonna be worth the wait, guys. I swear.
Yeah.
One thing I'm excited for the most is just I'm gonna do my best to create some emotional moments. And if I could make someone cry or scream out with joy, it doesn't have to be sadness, but yes, if I could make someone cry, that would be
Emotionally damage
fantastic.
someone is what you're
Mhm.
saying.
That's really the goal as a DM, really. Cause
Yeah,
trauma.
Yeah, if you're not
Emotional
causing
stories
trauma,
is what I'm looking
you know.
forward to.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Whether or
Like,
not it's a good thing is subjective, but making someone cry For not out of character reasons, at least.
I would,
Yeah.
of course, I would of
Is
course work with the person on that story
Yeah.
and make sure that it's like in a good way.
yeah, yeah. It's I would say making someone cry in like the good way is a good mark of a DM. Like you've done something that is so moving to at least one person.
Yeah, and you've managed to emotionally impact somebody, and that's really important as a DM, and that really brings the like immersion full force to a lot of people when they're role playing, right? Because if you're feeling what your character's feeling, if you're getting sad when they're meant to be sad, if you're like overly, happy in a moment that a character is just so happy to be there, if you're as anxious as someone is during like a run or something like that, you're feeling the nerves, you're feeling the adrenaline, your hands are shaking, because I don't know how many times I've seen people on missions
Yeah.
like this with their guns because the adrenaline is just going. Like it's good to see that like impact, and I can definitely like agree with that with you, Friendly, that emotionally impacting someone as a part of a storytelling role is a goal for I think a lot of DMs here, if not
And
everyone.
and an example I would like to bring up is actually something you did, NicNac, with a sandwich, and
Ah,
at the end of season, it
that
made me cry watching VODs and clips and stuff,
What are you
and I
talking
thought
about?
that was
Sandwich is
great.
fine. They just went back home to the synth farm, right?
The synth farm.
Right? Like farm, there's plenty of room to run. They can play with all the other hug bots,
Yeah, they're
right?
definitely all right.
she did a good job.
Luca did a fantastic job. That was all Luca. All
Mhm.
I did was just grab her at the right moment and just like that's the thing. Like as a DM, kind of like if you do your job right, it won't feel like you really did anything. It'll just feel natural coming out of the role play, right? Like the thing with Sandwich that was really so interesting was the only reason that happened was because there was an opportunity to make that happen, because I was sitting there watching Luca do Sandwich stuff, and they went to go hug Cordy, Cortibo on Twitch. If anyone has seen them, they should. They're a fantastic
Previous
streamer.
guest on the podcast.
Yeah, previous
Yeah.
guest, right? And rather than getting a hug right away from Cordy, Cordy brushed them off and said, "I'll get it to you later. I'm busy right now," because they were in the middle of a photo shoot with some corporate characters in the Dirty Diamond and stuff. They were busy making their money, busy being that selfish character that they are. And in that moment, I planned with Luca to make it the most traumatic experience, because there was this budding like sibling relationship kind of growing there, and what better way to kind of ground everyone back in the themes of Neon Divide than to strip away the thing that was so innocent and so perfect and so good for the community as a whole, then just just take a sandwich away. Doesn't sound too impactful, but for a lot of folks in the row it really was. And
Oh
there
yeah,
are so many experiences like that I want to see happen on every map. I know Wasteland especially had a lot of those impactful moments, like the spiders in Wasteland with Lilith and Sapphire and stuff. Just so many moments, so many.
Yeah, I mean, especially for like an RP of this scale, it's amazing that we can affect as many players as we do. You know, it's a lot of it is, as you said, it's a lot of fun. It doesn't feel like work sometimes. Even if you're poring over a character sheet trying to figure out, okay, how does this character fit into this story weave, and on our whiteboard doing a flow chart of seeing how and where people, places, and things connect,
Yeah,
and it kind of all clicks.
the beautiful thing about VRChat roleplay for me is, like, especially in these larger groups, like some of the groups that are like 40 or so people, and especially like this one, there's so many variables. The DMs only have to do like half of the work, really, and the players just do amazing things.
Yeah, and that's the thing here is personally, I as a DM try to push it that I'm not the one here telling stories. I am here to facilitate stories. I am here to make sure that people's stories happen. And a lot of people's stories will naturally happen without DMs having to step in once. A perfect example of that being the beautiful thing that happened in Undercity between Winston and Avenera, the poor sad dog boy of the bar, and the shrew, like emotionally, like just like I don't want to say dead because they aren't, but very, very cold, very calculating. You know, I'm forgetting their character. Someone help me out here. Cassandra, thank you, Cassandra, and how that relationship played out in Undercity, and just watching that dynamic happen. I think Winston called the DM maybe 3 times throughout all of the season. Ava a couple times more. Like that's something that just happened, and no DM really had to interfere with. So you're doing a great job as a DM. The less input you really have to do, you know. And I personally like I run the runner network and the mission system and all that jazz, so I have to be like super involved with that stuff. But ideally, if it were just to go, I could just tell people, all right, go here, and this is your objective, and then from there I don't have to step in once and just, you know, have the supporting cast be the supporting cast and, you know, get involved with those combats and stuff like that, and watch that just run through, success or fail, because everyone is, you know, here on the ball ready to get stuff done. So it's so exciting to see that kind of stuff here. And I know Upper City especially had, you know, some interesting things happen up there in that same regard. Like Astral had some interesting encounters up there, the chasing bounties and stuff like that. Valkyrie, you know, exploring outside of their, you know, their, I won't say jurisdiction because that's not the right word for it, but really exploring stuff in the Undercity, for example, like going down there, visiting the bar and stuff.
Oh yeah.
We actually have a clip for that. What is the clip called? That
First time out of the Upper City.
Raising a mug with the spirits dogs, if you want to.
Oh yeah, that was probably the cutest moment in my season 3 experience for sure. Like you don't get all the context prior to this, but they were following us around for like 4 or 5 minutes, leading us through the Undercity, because Nix and I had no idea where to go at the point. And then we ended up at the bar, and they came along with us.
Come join us, little one.
Yeah. Man, I wish you had the name. I'm just going to call you Muggy. Not because of the smell down here, but the mug.
Hey.
I mean, it's
To
true.
the health of the spirits.
Yeah.
I'm sure their
For
guidance.
whatever life you did live, I'm sure it was good.
Look at that nerd. He brought a coffee mug to a drinking party. Like, what the hell, man?
Well, he was wearing it the entire time we were down there,
Oh, this
so
is not
just
bad.
became our pets for the day, I guess.
That's a bold statement, but
I can't recall if this was the incident where you guys shot off a few shots at the end of your bar night.
Second favorite?
And it
Nope,
caused,
nope,
like,
that is a
that was
different bar
one?
night.
Okay, but I
think that-
remember,
yeah,
remember you guys visiting that bar
Yep.
again and just like popping off a few shots as you left, and that caused a whole slew of issues that just had ramifications through the Undercity for like the rest of the episode.
Nick's
Yeah.
got
Super
such an
combat.
obsession with getting like a Valkyrie-owned bar, so we were down there every other episode, or at least he was trying to get something going on. But yeah, that was a really fun episode. Like basically playing drunk for the better part of an hour, and I think we almost killed somebody by accident in that
I
one.
mean,
I don't know
yeah.
if you guys have that clip, but
Oh, I think that was with Leo's character, wasn't it? When Leo. Oh no, that's when
No,
CC and crew were in the bar. That's right. I don't think we have that clip on hand, unfortunately, but it is certainly all sorts of just interesting, fun things that can happen. Like not even trying to cause trouble or anything, just
exactly, just finding yourself in there.
just
The
finding
DM,
yourself.
the DM
being
set
in
the
the-
path
yeah.
for everybody, and then everybody walks down it and gets into whatever trouble they run into along the way.
Yeah, it just like all sorts of getting in trouble from every part of the map. Being in Wasteland, getting in trouble with like local law enforcement, or out there in the waste of some sand critters, whatever. Undercity, like when isn't there an incident in Undercity? It seems like, right? Magical rifts, gang members, synth haters, Krakens, like
Yep.
terrorism, like or not terrorism, sorry, freedom fighting. You know,
Thank you, NicNac.
like yeah, just apologies, Matt. I didn't want to get my home blasted in the night.
Better perspective.
I'm just gonna move the grenade a little further.
Yeah, move a little. There you go. There you go.
Well, Move the rest too.
Yeah, move the rest.
Not
Yeah.
far enough.
Oh yeah, put it. Yeah,
Okay.
put it to the wyvern. Surely the wyvern will protect me here.
We got a deal. We're good. We're
Yeah,
cool.
we got it. Oh yeah, you got a deal there, and that's such an interesting dynamic too. That all these factions can like kind of work with each other. You know, even if it's like Corpo and like Slummer, or Corpo and Mercenary, or I keep saying Corpo, but there's all sorts of other things here. Like I know, in the row there was like the Triad introducing some antagonistic forces that weren't just hey, don't like corporate, or hey, you know, here comes an alien threat, or hey, here comes something magical that no one here can deal with, or stuff like that. So I know the wyverns down in the row were certainly excited to see things go off, along with some of the Undercity people who were very excited, biting into the bit there to get involved in the Steel Wing conflict that was going on in the row for the Rose finale. Just all sorts of interesting stuff there, and I'm just so excited for season 4, guys. I don't know about you. I'm just
Yeah.
so excited.
I am hyped.
Like I just want to sit
They have
here and
no idea.
spill everything to everybody about what we're doing, and
It's
I know
hard.
I
It's hard
can't.
not to.
I
Yeah.
know. I know
We're
we
just
can't,
sitting
but,
here like writing up all these little tidbits and like, you know, building all these toys, and we want people to come and play with them, but it's not quite time to do that.
it's not. It's ready when it's ready. But
Yeah,
I want
Should we
it to be
put out
ready
a teaser
now.
trailer and then not do anything for another 4 months?
Just
We'll
just
do the
have-
Star Citizen approach.
yeah, just hype everyone up. No, see, that's the opposite of what I want to do. I don't want to Star Citizen people. I don't want to, you know, get people like excited and then have a launch that falls flat. You know, episode 1, definitely not. So that's why we're working so hard here. So, oh man, just so for season 4, I know people have like ideas and plans and stuff. I don't know if I've already asked this. I might have, but point being, you know, I'm excited to see what's coming for season 4. But does anyone have like any plans and character for season 4? Because despite us being DMs, I'm sure people still want to try and play their characters where they can. I myself am not too worried about it because Jolly Roger's just a facet of the network. He comes in and does stuff when he needs to. And sure, I'll have a bit of fun when there's a lot of downtime, but I'm not too worried about playing Roger. I'm more, you know, worried about making sure everyone else has a better time than I possibly do in character. So, like, anyone have any big plans that they want to do? I know, Zab, you have, you know, you're bringing in a whole new character.
Mhm.
And I know you're joining the Wyverns and stuff, but, you know,
Yeah.
like, I'm curious if you have any more solid plans for your season 4.
The original idea for the character was character Bade has been in Salvation City for a while. He's been working as a wyvern for a while in Salvation City. But day 1, he wakes up like in a garbage bin in District 32. And all he
Sounds
has
familiar.
is his helmet. He doesn't have, like, he has some clothes, but not his armor, which he has had for like decades. So that was the original plan. But I'm going to need to talk with you and Lexa to see if that needs to be changed, because I'm a DM now, to sort of like...
Well, I think we can still make it
balance things
happen.
out.
It's just, you know, balancing things out and figuring out, right? Because I think, like, one thing we definitely want to do is the nice thing about season 3 is, like, the first couple episodes were very much downtime and no one really doing anything critical or doing anything crazy with storylines or anything like that. And I think probably want to continue that trend. So if the first 3 episodes are just kind of like, hey, let's get everyone back in the pace of things, get everyone back in, you know, on the horse and getting their first steps back into the world and, you know, their relationships and their characters, I don't think it'll be any bad time to just be like, yeah, go ahead, go play your character for a bit, you know. And that's definitely something I want to strive for the DM team, especially is like I want the DMs to be able to DM, but first and foremost, we're here to have fun. And some people don't get off on DMing like I do. Like I can just sit here and DM all day, all night. Not an issue. Some people want to go out there and play characters, even if it's their own or other characters that they can have fun with out there, like interacting with other people. Because first things first, we're here to role play, right?
I'm confident that we'll figure it out, whatever the end result is.
Yeah, for sure.
I for one am super excited to hopefully play Vin again after, you know, losing a leg and almost dying in the last run. I couldn't imagine playing anybody else other than this guy.
Yeah.
So if I could
you,
bring him in as a player character, it'd be great.
you know, speaking of Vin, actually, I think you have a concept for Vin, don't you? You have a character concept proper that you got made up by
I
somebody.
had character concept art of Vin made up. I commissioned it from the Just Slayin.
He just slaying.
Just like
Yeah, and a fantastic artist. I love them to death. They're one of my favorite people, and I commissioned some art from them. Yep, there they are. And yeah, one of my favorite little details on there is one of the patches. I think it's one on his left side. It's the one throwing the Molotov cocktail. It has a little angry Geb cube in the bottle.
Oh, that's a cute little detail. I love that.
Mhm.
Oh,
And
man.
the gold badge with the writing in modern Arabic says resist. I was thinking of putting a hieroglyphic on it, but I thought that was too on the nose for Medjai, so I looked up what their current writing system is, and it is modern Arabic. So I put the word resist on a gold badge to
Oh, yeah.
mark him as Medjai.
He looks real good. The patches and the vest and stuff remind me of, like, ironically, a lot of my childhood, because one of my good family members used to work at like one of those underground punk concert halls, and just you go through there all the time to see him, and just the music's blaring and people looking just like your character, just out there rocking their heads off to some good music. It was great. Like, it's some fantastic design and stuff I'm personally just the biggest fan of. Like, I can sit here and fanboy about all your characters all day. Like, Vin is a fantastic character who I love to see on that run. Like, I was so glad I was able to get Vin in on that run along with everyone else, a part of that runner finale. Just so excited to see you there.
Oh yeah, I was so happy I could go on that run too, because it got dicey a couple of times. Like I was told that I was probably going to be needed as a regular. I shouldn't say regular. Like I was gonna need to play something else other than Vin for the run. And then a little later that same day, it was like, never mind, you're good. You're going.
It was real dicey because there were people like, oh, I'm gonna go, oh, I'm not gonna go, oh, I'm gonna go, oh, I'm not gonna go, and then it's just like, all right, whether or not they're going, squeeze them in. He's been adamant. Let's get him in there. I want this character to support the Magi, and I want them to be just as impactful as anyone else going on that run. And he really was. Vin was like really, really, really important on that run, because there was a lot of things that I noticed, especially that you were able there to support the medics and make sure everyone on the back line was secured, because there was a lot of stuff going on in this room, especially. Despite you almost dying 15 feet that way, like there was a lot of important stuff going on in here, and it was really important that every character who was here got to be a part of that experience and be a part of that impact on the role play. Because for folks who don't know, the runner finale kind of gave a lot of soft reset to the idea of like bounties or background info that is available on you to the corporations, because we're kind of standing in a network node, as the kids like to call it, for a lot of the information that Triton gets from like cameras or like information from other corporations that they filter through to use to track you all down and stuff like that. So it's a great thing to give everyone that like fresh ground, be they good guy, bad guy, corporate, slummer, ganger, wastelander, all sorts of stuff. So it gave a lot of room for us to kind of breathe in a lot more of the identity of the city in, which was the goal with the runner finale, or at least from me. And I wanted to make sure that everyone involved got to be a part of that experience. And I think we actually have a clip of you almost dying here, don't we?
Yes, I did send in the exact clip of me being like dragged back.
And see, what is it called here? It is called. Here we go.
Doug says already got it lined up.
He does.
It
he's
is
so much faster than me. It's like he's like ready with the production or something.
It is named Saving Private Diesel, and that's actually super funny to me, because I was just thinking of what to name my runner personality.
Diesel, I got you.
And,
I got you. Pull back over.
First name was Vin. Of course, I named myself Diesel as a runner.
Vin Diesel, God. I love him.
Okay.
This is our
Can
lovely
you walk it all?
last minute medic boy builder playing Lux.
Support on me.
Payne.
Support on me. Come on.
I would have died on this run if it wasn't for Builder.
Yeah.
Did lose a leg though.
Well, I mean, a leg is
Small price to pay.
That's like
small price to play. You know, it just means you get a cooler leg. It just means you get a robotic leg or something.
Oh yeah, no,
you know?
I got a robot leg.
If anyone
literally
needs
the next
meds,
day.
I need it right now. He's dying.
There's that boy
There's that boy dying again.
dying again. God, when doesn't Fenris die?
he made it. He
He
lived.
did. He did live. You
That's the
know,
thing. He
purely-
didn't die.
He didn't die. Purely on the
Despite
energy
his
that
best
his
efforts.
purely running on that energy that his wife would actually kill him if he did die. You know, you can't die until I kill you, kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And now they're retired happily on some other part of the city, off planet, who knows where. If he wants to talk about it, he can talk about it.
He
I'm
talked about
sure.
it. He came on last podcast, and they are out still helping out with more resisted stuff because, of course.
Maybe we'll see them next season. Who
Yeah,
knows? I
maybe.
mean, maybe
We'll see.
you know,
Cameo, yeah.
Yeah, a cool cameo would be nice. You know, if he's willing to do it.
Yeah, because he
Vin
does have a
went-
new character coming in, but
And
Vin
that's
went
kinda-
with them to the row 6 as well.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing. Like, not everyone wants to suffer RP till the end of their days. You know, some people want happy endings, and that's something that, while being rare in Salvation City or Neon Divide more openly, like, it can still happen. And you know, if that's the experience you want to pursue here, it's something that we're, you know, I would hope we're very open to.
Oh yeah.
But at the end of the day, we're here to explore a nitty-gritty cyberpunk dystopia with the discovery of
Mhm.
magic. And if things don't go boom, you're not doing it right. At least in my opinion. But there's all sort of like subtlety and spycraft in here too. So it's just so interesting to see the dynamic of characters, especially in season and coming season. I'm sure we're excited to see what.
We're doing it right.
We are doing it right. There you
There
go.
you go.
Doing it right, yeah.
Yeah, you're doing it right. Going out with a bang, as it were. But yeah,
Yeah.
let's see. Whoa, we've been going at it for quite a while, haven't we? Quite
Yeah.
a while.
yeah,
For
yeah,
a
yeah.
bit. I feel like I could talk for another couple hours though.
We
Yeah.
do talk for a good couple hours when we're not in the spotlight. How long do we actually just sit and shoot the shit about neon stuff? Like
Yeah.
3 more minutes?
23. Yeah.
23. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
23.
Oh,
All right,
yeah,
we
we-
got way
we-
more
yeah,
time.
we
got
All
time.
right, sure, yeah. 23 more
Yeah.
minutes, sure. Let's. Anyone want to talk about something? I'm out of questions, so now we can just sit here.
Well, I
and,
think
like,
there's still
shit.
people who got to answer that plans for next season
Oh yeah,
about their
of course,
character.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I got lost. You know, that's just me. Who else has got plans for next season? Detroit, you got interesting things for Kenneth
I
next season?
mean, Kenneth was a row character in season 3. That's
Mhm.
obviously gonna probably change a little bit, but he's versatile, and the idea of being able to play a character inspired by common riders on a map that actually has motorcycles is really, really appealing.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. I remember when you first pitched the character, not only did you pitch the character, you also made a character trailer that was in the style of a Common Rider opening.
Yes,
I remember that thing. You put the Common Rider music over it, you went out in the wasteland, you got on the bikes, and you shot the whole thing.
Yes, I recreated the Kamen Rider Black RX opening with the model, just because
I
I
remember-
really liked the idea.
I just remember seeing that in the character sheet when I got it. I'm just like, what? He made a trailer. He made a character and he made a trailer for it. I couldn't get over that when I saw it.
Didn't
It's like
Detroit
an audition tape
post-
almost.
Kind
Yeah,
of,
didn't-
right? Like,
Didn't Detroit post a clip about someone noticing what he was, or
oh yeah, we
Yes,
do have a clip
yes,
of that. You're right, we do.
The
We
clip
have,
of the first time I talked to
The
anyone in the
intro.
RP. That was
yeah.
I was so nervous before that.
You're that ninja. You're that guy.
I love this clip to death. By the way,
It's one of my favorites for sure.
Yes, I am new to this role,
I was assigned here by Union. And I'm supposed to be working at the arena. I was told to contact a man named Jimothy. He had some information for me.
Okay, okay.
Do you need my ID?
Whoa, okay, wow, okay, so,
The
are
posing.
you
I'll
one of
never
these,
get over the posing.
yeah.
Never ever.
Moomin Riders, or, is it Moomin Rider? Oh, it's...
No, I'm a masked hero. I'm a masked hero. You
Oh,
know,
right, okay,
I
right.
go around, I fight for justice.
Oh, okay, all right, sure. So, yeah. Okay, so, so what's your name?
There he is. It's my boy,
my name?
the hero in all of our hearts, hero
From the
of the
darkness,
row.
a crowd erupts. Applause. From it arises. I, eating my Kenneth own Moore, inner the Rogue Tiger. No problem at all. Yes, I am new to this.
Oh, I think it just looped.
I did. But man, that is a hell of a first introduction, though. It is. Seeing that in action and then just watching you hop about the row was certainly an experience, at least in my time in the row with you.
Definitely
And-
that defining character trait of posing while I talk. To the point where it was infectious. I would have conversations with people and they'd be confused, and then they would also maybe like start to mimic me.
Oh my god! I remember one time you came down to the Undercity, and I ran into you with like a group of other people. I think they're a bunch of medics, and you're doing the poses, and they started doing them as well. And I just kind of sat there, just like I didn't know what to do. So I was like, okay, you have fun with that, and I ran back to the Medjay.
That's how I
Because, like-
started and ended my sessions. I would be in my house in front of my mirror practicing poses in character as Kenneth.
That's wonderful.
That's the kind of dedication we look for in characters, for sure.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. So, a lot of people here have talked about what they're going to be doing for season 4, but the two I haven't gotten to yet are Bucky and Skiz. So, Bucky, what are your plans for Artyom, this wonderful lad?
Artyom, you've had such a hard life so far. I can't wait to make it so much harder. There's a lot. There's a lot of different plans. A lot of things have happened off screen since last season. So the Artyom that's coming back, since he's had some run-ins with death a few times and needs to start living his life the way he wants to. Now he's got a bit more control over it. Is going to be pushing forward with a new group of friends. And I don't know if we want to get too much into that stuff, but still going to be working alongside Valkyrie and trying to do the best as he can as a field agent. But I think the big reveal of the season I can't talk about yet. So
Yeah, and I think I know what you're talking about, and I'm just as excited as you are for that one, especially. You know, if we've got some interesting plans laid out, and I'm very excited to see those come to fruition. And with your experience, Bucky, I am even more excited to see what happens with that.
We're gonna have some real good back and forth, you and I.
Most assuredly. And now, of course, flesh-hating machine itself, the machine that the flesh hates. Skiz, what are some plans that V4Q is going to be doing in season 4? Like world domination, extermination of all organic life. Like,
We'll
what are we
I mean,
looking at?
if that opportunity presents itself in a nice, easy way, maybe. Otherwise, in the time being, we're kind of working on making a place for synths. Last season, the Undercity, as part of its Declaration of Independence, included in there that synths are to be treated like normal organic beings in in the Undercity, that they would also have the rights of personhood, basically. And so that's kind of started attracting like synths from other areas, and also violence from some people who don't like that idea. That idea of like, oh, now they're demanding pay and housing of their own. What is this? So V4Q's kind of been networking a little bit with other synthetics that have come down to the Undercity, and along with Voxine, who is the the synthetic representative on the Undercity Council kind of like started getting the ball rolling on like, okay, what would a place in the Undercity that is for synths look like? And I don't, whether or not that, it's only been a year. It's hard to say that like any real progress would have been made at this point. But because again, all we really did was kind of talk about the idea. We didn't set any groundwork rolling or anything. But I'm excited to see how that idea of like, okay, we've got synths starting to kind of, okay, this is a safe haven for synths. What does that look like? Where do is it actually a good idea to be doing this when there are corporations that can see, hey, there's a gathering of awakened synths down here. We don't like awakened synths because we make synths or whatever. Like that idea of it'll be fun to see where that goes. And I mean, V4's very much a part of that, and like it being kind of the de facto synth repair person primarily in the Undercity. Not to say that there weren't others, but kind of the one that synths would come to because okay, you're a synth. You've kind of had a downtrodden life dealing with organics. You need some repair. Hey, there's a free synth offering, like doing repairs for synths. That seems like a great place to go. Why would I ever trust an organic again? And yeah, there's some other stuff that we're doing. Poisons are great, but it's all good. It's all good.
All I can promise you is one maintenance closet with a power strip. Can you make do, or is that going to be like?
See, this is exactly the kind of downtrodden lifestyle that we're led to. Like we got these organics with like containers full of water that they just sit in. Like like this, they got like cold boxes for food. Like you could just eat like cubes and you'd be fine. But no, you gotta put fruits and vegetables in there. What is this? It's a life of lavish luxury that is not needed. Just
I don't know about that.
I'd fight you on that point before, but if I feel like if I did, I'd get a Skynet, and I don't know how I feel about a Skynet quite yet. Like we already had one of those, and I don't think I want to deal with another one right away.
Yeah, but it's not a bad idea,
Debatable, but
I think we might actually have some overlap if you're planning to do synth awakening stuff. That's gonna be a lot of fun to play with.
We'll definitely have a lot of conversation before season starts for sure.
I will say though, between season 1 and season 2, season 1 was just the knowledge district, the grove, and then like the upward path. So
yeah, that is true.
So everything else was revealed and cleaned up in over the course of a year. So it is not impossible for you to have actually something there.
That is true. And a couple of synths, when we got a couple of people that know how to work with tools and machinery, and we'll see how it goes.
And you do have allies.
Yeah, you do have allies.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of like weirdo factions out there. Some people who really enjoy the synthetics, like, the House of the Traveler and stuff like that. Some people who really don't like them, like the Anglers or the House of Light, or not the House of the Church of Light, rather. Just all sorts of like cross contamination there. And that's kind of like one of the strongest strength of Neon, in my opinion, is all this interesting cross contamination of storylines and faction likes and dislikes and goals and oppositions and all that. And I really want to make sure that that stuff comes to light, because we're in a cyberpunk dystopia with magic and all sorts of other crazy things. And if that is one thing to be said, is that conflict there is one of our primary driving storylines, even if it's not conflict of like violence, conflict of opposition, conflict of like ideals, of just ways of living, because like the Undercity and the Row are two drastically different areas of the city, and they're like right on top of each other. Like Row's here, Undercity's here technically. You could walk down the path back in season 1, you can go down to the Knowledge District and the Grove and such down the subway tunnel. And it's so crazy to see how different the dynamic is now that, they've kind of gained their own identities. And especially with the introduction of Upper City and the Wasteland, like all of that blending together into one big story is so interesting to me. And I know everyone here is also just, wanting to get involved in that process as well. But,
That's what we're doing as DMs, right? Like we're making this living, breathing world, and there is a lot of chaos and a lot of divide in it.
Whoa!
in this
He said the thing. He said the
Roll
thing.
credits. We can end it here.
It's over, it's done. But no, I think that's something I'm super excited to see, is because like we've created something that has gone beyond our control, and we're just trying to wrangle it as best we can as DMs and help guide it into a way that's like really fun for people and really enjoyable. And I'm just so excited to see the shit that people get up to.
Yeah, you cannot predict what's going to happen. At least the specifics with how many variables there are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, and that's the thing. We don't want to like predict what player characters are going to do, right? That's the last thing you want to do, because as Winston likes to say whenever we pitch ideas, no plan holds up when it makes contact with the enemy. So it's like you can plan for things, but player characters will take that and throw that out the window and twist it into something entirely different. Like the whole bull versus steel wing thing that happened in the Row, none of that besides they're gonna meet in the bar or somewhere in the Row and have open conflict was really planned. And there was this whole interesting thing where the Wyverns kind of got into the bull's hideout with the steel wings, and then there was this whole moment that I had no idea was happening while playing the head of the bull gang at the time. They had this whole interesting conflict of like, hey, for now we're here to take care of a mutual enemy, but fucking try and cross us proper, and you're not gonna like what happens. Steel Wings are a former Wyvern faction, and although the Wyverns probably don't want to deal with it, it's probably something that's going to come up next season, be it for the Row or even the corporations, like the Runner Network especially. Like they were, like, at least when I made the Steel Wings as an antagonistic force, I want them to be a sort of force that reaches into every kind of prospect of the RP to be that, interesting force to deal with. So I am very excited what everyone brings to the table here, to be it Wasteland or Undercity or the Row or even, Upper City as it is. And I'm very curious what Undercity is especially going to do, because, I mean, Undercity has just had so much going on. There's been magical rifts, there's been sea monsters. Like, I know I listed them earlier, but it's just every time I think about it, the fact that we had giant hamsters with baseball bats like fist fight someone in the arena.
Those.
Yep.
Like it boggles my mind every time I think about it. So it's so God, it's something.
The Undercity is my favorite place, just because I don't know. I think for me it's because I was a viewer since season 2 started, and my perspective was in the Undercity. I watched it. I fell in love with all the characters, the stories, and I also can't leave the Undercity ever.
I was a viewer season 2 as well, and to be where I am right now, it's still just like the biggest. Like, are you sure? Are you sure? Like, are you sure you want me, guys? Are we okay? Are we sure? Like, there's no one else. Fuck. All right. Let's
I'm
go.
feeling
Yeah,
that a
let's
little
do
bit
it.
myself.
Yeah, the imposter syndrome really kind of kicks in a bit, doesn't it? But I think
Yeah, it's like
as
I
long
feel
as
like I'm sitting here as a fan, being like, as a fan of ND, I'm getting this chance to help run it in a way now, and I'm.
yeah.
It's a little. It makes me a
that
little
makes
nervous,
it all
but
the
I'm
better,
excited.
right?
Mhm.
Like if you're a fan, you've already had that love for the community and for the RP, and you understand how the stories kind of come together. And I think that just makes you a better DM, honestly.
honestly,
And
and
it does help that I've had I want to say about half a year to a year of VR DM experience in fan RP as well, which is also a similar, but not entirely this setting. So it's like I feel confident,
Yeah,
but I'm just excited.
I think we're all just really excited to get the next season going.
I'm chomping at the bit. I'm so heckin' excited.
Like,
I
I don't know
don't
how
have
many
anything else to
times.
add other than just saying that I'm excited for it.
I don't know how many times I've come into like our whiteboards or just a meeting or just a room to hang out in, and I see Friendly in the whiteboard, or I see Skiz talking about something, or like Detroit and somebody just like going at it about, oh, it'd be so cool in season 4, or like, how would this work? Get into a discussion off hours of like any of our official meeting times, just going at it. Like, maybe if we did this with this system, or just like, it's so exciting to see everyone be so excited to be a part of the DM team and just be a part of Neon Divide in general. And I really want to keep that energy, that hype, that roll it into next season. And I know for some people, like, there have been some ups, there have been some downs, but I think with season 4, I want to make sure that we get things right. Get things to a place where everyone can have fun, everyone is on the same page. There's no more like any of these major hiccups that cause something to go wrong and ruin somebody's experience or something like that. And that's why I have my DM team here, especially to make sure that we get those things right. We have character team, we have DM team, we have dev team, we have like everyone on board who wants to work with us or is willing to work with us and wants to make sure that season 4 and Neon Divide keeps chugging along into a fantastic next season. And like, despite maybe being a season 1 character or coming in season 3 unknowing what of a lot of the project is, I think we can all agree that Neon Divide season 4 is something very special, and we want to make sure it is the best for everyone, including the DMs and including the player characters, including the supporting cast, and just including the viewers as well, because a lot of people stream the experience. Like, it's not I don't want to say it's a show or anything, but it is certainly something to watch and get invested in regardless, because that's
I don't
how
think
a
it
lot
would
of
be
RP
wrong
that's
to say
streamed
it's a
is
show, yeah.
really.
Yeah.
it's more of a like it's a show that we all get involved with and have fun with together. Ultimately, I just didn't want to say it without like implying anything behind that. Like, oh, it's a production. Oh, we gotta be super serious. No, we're just here to role play and share our.
There's a lot of
experiences and our
dedication
stories.
that goes in behind the scenes to create it. I wouldn't call it like production, but I think the sheer volume of people we have working on this project is enough to call it a show at least.
Yeah, like, so we don't make it as a show, but it very much is a show.
Yeah, and I agree with that ultimately. I'm just so excited, and I want to talk. I want to talk so much. I want to talk so much about the stuff I can't talk about.
We'll get there.
We'll
We'll
talk
get
about the
there.
stuff you can talk about.
We can talk all day, but we're just about at the end of the
Oh, yeah.
podcast.
Oh, well.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, look, there we go. Talking about stuff until, the dead of the night. So I suppose, how much time do we have left? Are we like
enough-
a
We
minute
have 2
out?
minutes.
Enough time to
2
go around
minutes?
the room and see what everyone's up to and how people can get,
Good.
contact them or whatever.
Sure,
Follow
we'll do send out stuff. Sure. So I guess I'll start since I'm talking a lot here. I'm NicNac. I don't do anything special. I don't stream. I don't be active on Twitter. I'm a ghost. I'm gonna be around just working on Neon Divide or my own D&D. If you do ever want to watch the D&D, like Capo streams it on Sundays when we do it. But that's all I'm gonna be working on. I'm just gonna make sure that this ship goes to port until season 4 is ready, and that's me. Zab.
Yeah, so I am mainly on Twitch and Twitter, Zabson. I've been uploading old VODs on YouTube as well. It's sort of on a schedule. So if you want to check that out, that's if like the old stuff that's there. Main thing I'm doing right now though is Blackwell, which is another RP that's on Wednesdays.
Right now, isn't it?
Yeah. Unfortunately, however, I had other plans with family anyway, so I couldn't have gone even if I wanted to. But yeah. Blackwell's a good RP. I want to get back into more like gaming streaming, but I don't know when that's gonna happen. But yeah.
Oh,
Cool.
Well, Bucky, what about you?
For me, it's Bucky Loves It basically everywhere. I've been doing a little bit of gaming streams on Twitch, and I'm mostly working on creating a movie of RTM's POV and the whole Valkyrie experience with Shiny, which is going pretty well. So we're trying to get that all together and get some like behind the scenes stuff recorded, and that's going to be really fun. Hopefully I can get it out before the start of season 4, but keep an eye out for that on the Twitch and my YouTube there.
I'm sure we'll get it out before the season starts. I don't want to put like that so
I
far
mean,
out there, but
it's a lot. It's where you got to cut 77 hours of footage down. Like,
oh, I see.
It's a lot.
All right. Certainly interesting. And Skiz, how about yourself? Do you anything you want to plug? Anything at all?
Well, there's a great podcast that I host, SlummerTV. It's the official Neon Divide podcast.
Show.
It's we don't have the date for the next one yet, but right after we finish this, we'll probably start working on that. That's pretty much the only thing I do with any real public internet stuff, other than obviously, doing stuff with this.
Well, Friendly, anything you want to plug? Anything you want to share? Just, anything at all? It's okay.
I am Friendly Explosion on Discord and Twitter. I do not stream. I don't do anything. I don't really have anything going for me other than GMing, which I'm excited to do. But yeah, that's pretty much me. I'm active on Discord, so.
Yeah, sounds good. And of course, Detroit Sentai Hero of the Row. Anything you want to plug? Anything you wanna talk about before we wrap up here?
I mean, I stream whenever I do RP stuff on Twitch, which would be Detroit Sentai on Twitch. In a couple weeks, Fan RP is starting up again, so that'll be Saturday and Monday nights if anyone's interested in seeing me GM that or play a character in that, which I'll be doing on my off nights.
Yeah, I'll be playing a character in that too.
Or you can find me retweet a bunch of Super Sentai Mecha Common Rider stuff.
It will ruin your timeline.
301st.
Like every time I look at my Twitter, you've retweeted something, and it's like Mecha or Common Rider or something I didn't know about that I'm like, oh, that's good to know about or something. But it's mostly just like, hey, look, Common Rider. Hey, look, Mecha, something. It's fantastic. And I think that's the end of the show here. Of course, I have been your lovely DM and project lead NicNac. God, where is my thing? Y'all have a good night and a lovely wherever you are.
You just want to make sure we point out that the project can be supported via our Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/neondivide and check it out. It cannot happen without everyone and all the fans who contribute to everything and all that. You can also check out our store at store.neondivide.com and buy some lovely merch. Hopefully when the season starts, we'll get some season-only merch showing up for limited time and all that stuff, so you can check those out. And besides that, I'll bring back to you guys for one last wave while we raid someone. We are going to be raiding the Silent Lady, Silent One, who plays Zia in The Row.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, I like
I
them
love
a
that
lot.
drow.
She's
I
cool.
love that drow. She's great. Fantastic role player, that one.
And I should say how much I love the Masaru sweatshirt I got. I still wear it.
Oh,
during winter.
I got the Valkyrie hoodie.
I got the Valkyrie.
So fucking
got the Valkyrie hoodie
comfortable.
also.
It's so nice.
Right,
Yeah.
I wasn't able to get any merch, but I want to get a spirit mug.
I got the spirit mug. That is the only mug I drink out of anyone.
And with that, we're gonna go say goodbye. So last waves.
All right,
before we go.
goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Take it easy.
Bye. Have a good one.
Oh.